All right, everybody. Today is Friday, August 9th, and we were supposed to have a different guest this morning. Maybe he slept in. Let me see if I can't get everything squared away. I was not prepared to go live this morning, so I will need to get everything squared away and set up so we can run through. Let me get the podcast up. Everybody can talk amongst themselves for a minute while I try and get everything squared away. CISO series and the headlines. I know everybody's sitting in chat going, what's going on? Today is the 9th, so this is going to be the right one. I need to make sure we've got everything on here. Man, I've got so much stuff up in the middle of doing things. I need to pull up the website. You'll see, everybody, like Jerry says, everybody's seeing how the sausage is made right now. I've got to go through everything and set this up because I was, like I said, not prepared to do this. I need to get the chat up. So let's see if we can't pull the chat up here. Let me roll over. I got a brand new camera. And we changed some stuff. I changed some stuff around, and I was not ready for live this morning, but let's make sure we've got the camera stuff set up. Wait, did I just hear somebody pop in? I think I did. There he is. I will back off. I think we've got Mr. E.T. in the background ready to jump in. A little bit late. It happens. Here, while we're waiting, we can just we'll throw on a little music. We'll have a quick little discussion. We can look over everything before Eric jumps in here. Looks like we've got kind of going through and checking out some of these headlines real quick. Eric, well, we'll talk while Eric gets his stuff ready. Let me see if I can pull up chat. If y'all want to, y'all can just throw around a couple of questions and I'll answer questions for right now while Eric gets his stuff situated and ready to go. It is Friday, and usually on Fridays we all tend to sleep in. Now let's drop this down. So it looks like we've got, I'm just gonna scroll through real quick, and then we'll of course get Eric's hot take on everything. Looks like we've got some, maybe we got some threat actors acting against some Canadian restaurant chains. It looks like Rhysida once again is hitting the hospitals. Man, we've got a big, looks like we got another big ransomware. SaaS apps and an abbreviated kill chain. Oh, we've got something about North Korea in here. Hey, you know what? Today is going to be a great day for Eric to be on here because there is a lot of ransomware in today's news. It seems what it looks like there's 3, maybe half of this is going to be about ransomware. So this would be a great day to have Eric in. Space Tacos asked the question, have I recovered from my recent crazy hectic weeks? That's a great question, and I wouldn't necessarily say 100% recovered, but we are we're back on track. Is the best way to put it. I'm back on track. So I know we're doing a little jaw jacking before while we get everything set up. RDP. I thought I saw somebody in here say, yeah, there it is. Gary Sergiatis. He says, you're one hell of a business continuity plan. Hey, I just get in here. Usually I get in here about 6 o'clock in the morning and I start work just like Eric Taylor, just like Jerry. Well, I'd be 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock my time. and I just happened to see that there wasn't anything going on. The mods were chiming in, I was chiming in, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going live. I have no clue, and my setup is not ready for this, so. Carrie, do you have any idea where it ran to? We've got 235 people that have stuck with us, and we're around 15 minutes late, but we will get everything squared away and set up. Man, my camera, y'all can see the pores on my head in this camera. Woo! There's one thing about HD, I don't look good on HD. Need to take it back down to lo-fi. Exactly. Who is it that did that? BitSpectre. I agree with BitSpectre. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. That's exactly what we're doing right now. We'll do it live. Cell phones through 5G. Today's news is going to be pretty interesting. A lot of ransomware. A lot of this is going to be some interesting news today. Y'all ready for this? I think. Hey, while we're waiting, if you guys drop in, I think it's I think I put it exclamation BSEC possibly. If you use that, then you'll be able to get all of the resources that I've set up. I do need to go back through those resources that I put out on GitHub. That way everybody, that way I can update them, number one, and get all the links into there. I did it, I think if you look on GitHub, it says 2 years ago. So it was 2 years ago when I started all this stuff set up. You've got the books on there, you've got sites, you've got podcasts, you've got YouTube channels, tons of stuff on there. So if anybody new to the stream, hasn't been there before, then you can go grab that stuff. There you go. Speaking of new to the stream, is anybody we got any first timers here? Hashtag first timer. It's not. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe I did put. You know what? I know in Nightbot I put in there. I think I put in BSEC, DJ BSEC. I think I put them all in there just in case. You know, sometimes they go by BSEC, sometimes they go by DJ BSEC. All of my stuff is, of course, DJ BSEC. Long story around that. Maybe we can get that in. We can get to that in jaw jacking. All right, let's go ahead. See if I can get. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see. Eric's screen. I think everybody's screen. And I hear myself.
Man, this new setup that Jerry's got going on over here.
Oh, it's crazy. It's not Jerry. It's Rhysida.
Oh yeah, Restream. But yeah, he invoked the new setup or whatever. What's going on, DJ BSEC?
What's up, man?
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I smacked the snooze a little too much, and I was still laying in bed, and my wife was on the phone with a doctor, and I look at the time, and it says 8:07. I'm like, oh, fuck!
hey, you know what? I looked down and it said, well, for me, it's 7 o'clock here. But I looked down, I'm like, it's 7:05. Oh, it hadn't started yet. Oh, crap.
And I'm not sure if my internet is just completely jacked the F up today or not. So I'm having problems with the pages loading and everything like that, so bear with me one more moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see. Yeah, I was not set up for any of this. I was like, this is not gonna work right now.
Yep.
There we go. Now I've got my switch it there. Now you guys can kind of see my.
I can't get this last story to load. So whatever. That's not a CISO series issue. That's a Security Week website issue, I think.
So we can get the. There we go. Now I can get. Now we got everybody's chat into here. We can drop it down a little bit. And we can see some chat. See, this is what happens when you're not ready.
Yeah.
Let's remove this countdown off of here. All right, you can see what we're playing.
Just give me a moment. I need to load the graphics real quick that I've got anyway. And we will kick this thing off, ladies and gentlemen.
You see us both doing everything. All right, I'm trying to get... All right, at least that works. Zoom that in. There you go. There's a quick synopsis. Here you go, everybody. Quick, 1, 2, 3. All right, there's the news and done.
Done. We're out of here. We're out for tacos.
Man, there we go. Let's get some dark mode on there. Woo.
You're going hardcore, good sir.
Save the eyes.
So that image.
The moment of truth, everybody.
It literally takes about when you're trying to put this stuff together real quick, it normally takes about 20 minutes to get it all good and going. And when you're already 10 minutes late to even get out of bed and throw your freaking ugly self together. Smooth that there. Let's put this part of mid-roll. All right, it is 8:23. I'm not gonna load up the vendor pages, and it looks like I'm still missing something from Jerry. Make sure you get an email. That browser plugin, dude, or guys.
Yeah, no big deal. I would say just run the news.
You know what? I don't think Antisyphon or anything else would be mad either. I know I wouldn't be mad, and I'm a sponsor. My ugly face is on here.
It's Friday. Everybody's at
DEF CON Black Hat Summer Camp.
Yeah. Everybody's asleep right now after a long night.
Yeah, you think I was there. All right. Let's see. Can we get... Are we going to have the typical standard Simply Cyber audio issue?
Well, here, let me kill mine. You can throw your stuff up and listen.
What is this box?
Security headlines.
There you go.
Yeah!
From the CISO series, it's cyber...
Stop. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today is episode 663. Let's get some music going because we've got that. We will get that tuned down. Let's get some stuff moved around here, ladies and gentlemen. Hope y'all are doing well. Thank you so much for DJ BSEC for stepping in there so much. I do greatly appreciate it. It literally was a train wreck this morning. I'll even show you here that, even my battery, my phone didn't even charge right last night. So today's gonna be a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just strap in and all have a little bit of fun. And this is exactly what disaster recoveries look like. You get in the middle of it, and you got to pivot, you got to recover, you got to be able to move forward, and that's exactly what disaster recovery is. It's not always just a ransomware there's different forms of business continuity that you need to make sure that you have. And this is just kind of an example, and being able to have friends and colleagues that you can trust, like DJ BSEC, to be able to step in and be able to help you go through stuff. Make sure you have it for your business and in your personal life. It's always really, really good. Again, my name is Eric Taylor. I am with Barricade Cyber Solutions, and this is kind of really the strap in. I just woke up too much. Haven't had my ADHD medicine, so I am literally mentally going 1,000 miles an hour, and it's going to be a fast-paced little thing, and this is kind of the way I go things. Again, this is episode 683 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Briefing. I do want to thank you all for coming here. You know who we all are. Thanks to, we're Barricade Cyber. We're going to be here for a long time, but huge thanks to the other show sponsor of Antisyphon training. Y'all know John Strand. Y'all watch Black Hills. Seriously, forgive me, John Strand and the folks over there. We're really trying to condense this thing down. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I've even attended Black Hills information security training. I've always found it to be some of the best training that's out there, and it really is the best for the budget. It's even 1,000 times better than the free crap that you can get. I would rather pay for John Strand than ever watch that free stuff that you can ever do. And you feel like you're part of a community when you're there, right? You're talking with your classmates. You can interact with your instructor. It really is just like a SANS quality type of class for very, very little budget. So definitely check out Black Hills. I can't endorse them enough. You know that. I've said it many times. Please go consider Antisyphon training for all of your cybersecurity training in the future. And level up your game, right? Let me bring this up. Mervin, what is going on, man? Coming in strong with the squad membership, showing off the 18 months. We see Cyber Hamburger here for saying happy Friday, Eric. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, got a super check coming in for James McQuiggan at 38,000 feet. It's been a train wreck over a week. We all appreciate you and BSEC. It's all good. As just woke up too. Hey, coffee cup cheers. Well, I haven't had coffee yet. They literally did not have time to make it. So I grabbed a can of Sprite because it's either water, Sprite, or coffee that I'm drinking these days. And I'm even cutting down on the coffee, which really messes with the stuff when you're trying to self-medicate on ADHD. Those who are ADHD, you know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, people, if you are here for the first time or you're trying to get your CEP, continuing education, your CEs, say what's up in chat, snapshot that. Every episode is worth half a CPE. Count them up at the end of the year, divide by 2, and then put that in under your community contribution section for your CEs, and that way you can be able to get credit for that and be able to move forward, right? If you are a first timer here, please put in the hashtag first timer and say, what is this train wreck? Again, we're in disaster recovery mode, trying to catch up, but we would love to say hi to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sticking around, especially being a first timer trying to figure out what the heck's going on. Again, I am not, if you are first time, I am not the normal jackwagon that's here. It's normally Dr. Gerald Auger, but as I said before, he's out over at summer camp where he is playing with DEF CON, Black Hat, and all the other stuff over there and having a really good time. So, Monday we'll be back to typical normal operations, I believe, because he'll be back in his normal studio. So bear with us if you're first time and be able to get in there, right? Let me just double check mod chat before we kick things off real quick, because I did mess up my Discord a little bit. Matza Chad, let me know if I am talking too fast. I do know that a lot of times people will tell me, yo, so slow down a little bit. You're going 30,000 miles an hour, so if I need to slow down a little bit, let me know. Because I know sometimes people have a hard time understanding me. Exactly. Some great mod stuff going on. All right, let's see. Can we get? Let me. Thankfully, so normally in my operations in the morning, I kill off all of my applications that make a bunch of noise and teams and things like that. So that way I don't trigger a whole bunch of people. Let's quit teams and let me quit this application. Nigeria, Irene, first timer here. Welcome to the party. Thank you so much. Do greatly appreciate you. Y'all are hearing the music, I assume. So let's pivot this off. Some ADHD love in the house. Thank you. And I fully suspect we're gonna have an audio issue as soon as I start this thing, or after the first episode, ladies and gentlemen. I am fully expecting it would not be a Simply Cyber episode if we don't have an audio issue, but I think I've got it. Let's rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, it's gonna do it before. You son of a gun. Bear with me 1 second. Let me kick back up the mid-roll. That is way too low. I know that. Bear with me. Just taking care of one last issue with the audio. Actually, let me do that because I almost blew out everybody's eardrums. That goes to 70. All right, let's check this out.
Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, August 9th, 2024. I'm Steve Prentice. Chameleon reappears, targeting Canadian restaurant chain. The malware, originally known for attacking banks, has now begun targeting hospitality workers in Canada and Europe, including, quote, an unnamed Canadian restaurant chain that operates internationally, end quote. This is according to a report from Threat Fabric released on Monday. True to its name, the device takeover Trojan has changed its appearance and is now disguised as a customer relationship management app, often used in the hospitality industry for task automation, communication, and data analysis. The report adds that, quote, if the attackers succeed in infecting a device that has corporate banking access, Chameleon can then target business banking accounts, end quote.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So restaurants are definitely an interesting breed when it comes to cybersecurity as a whole. I have seen a lot of restaurants run completely paperless, completely like the only technology that they have inside of their restaurant is literally the credit card machine. Like their cash register is straight out, you know, still analog, is still the punch keys and all that. There's nothing digital at all inside of their freaking infrastructure. And then you got some that are just so in depth in the technology that they don't know what to do if something happens. So, yeah, I mean, this just goes to show that everybody's susceptible, right? Everybody's susceptible to ransomware, and this is kind of why businesses like Barricade is in place. But it's taught to fix CRM. This is actually pretty clever. Again, that we're going, as you know, we don't do any pre-show, especially when you wake up late. So we're getting our raw take. But once loaded, the dropper displays a fake login page requesting the user clicks on the message asking them to reinstall the application. So yeah, this is a fish. It's credentials or not credentials, but it's phishing page, phishing landing page. That is crazy. CRM that does that. Okay. Oh, okay. So I'm understanding it. So Chameleon is their application, their CRM that runs everything, which is in the hospitality industry for auto test. Okay, okay. Now I'm getting it. Now I'm getting it. The only thing I have a question on that I really don't want to spend a whole lot of time on is Chameleon a SaaS application or are they running a local installation here? I do know some restaurants have that, where they actually have a workstation slash server that they run, which is really, really crazy to me. But there's a lot of ransomware. We'll talk about ransomware all day long.
Rhysida claims attack on Bay Health Hospital in Delaware. Bay Health Hospital is...
All right, before we go further, ladies and gentlemen, look at me. I'm the captain now, right? I am the captain now. If you're not watching out for Rhysida and what they're doing, they are very, very quiet and stealthy for the most part of what they're doing. They will potentially be one of the new Lockbit, Hive, and other ransomware groups. They are quietly working their way up the list. Keep your eye. It's almost like a stock market. It's like a hot tip. These guys are going to potentially blow the F up.
Is a not-for-profit healthcare system that serves central and southern Delaware. The ransomware group is demanding 25 Bitcoin to avoid the leak of data, and it has posted screenshots of stolen passports and ID cards as proof. Rhysida is also known for having breached Abdali Hospital in Jordan, the King Edward VII Hospital in London, the British Library, and China Energy Engineering Corporation.
Yeah, you heard in the read there, right, ladies and gentlemen? They're going after some pretty big targets. I'll have to double check, but if memory serves me right, they're not coming after the U.S. infrastructure quite as much. They're mostly going after Eastern European and South America and things like that, which is really a different tactic for these guys. We do see them come across, but we do watch all the a lot of the feeds and stuff like that. So, but this particular one, Bay Health, but yeah, Delaware. So, but we see them growing quickly. Sorry, bear with me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, snap. Okay. All right. So look, we'll do today a little bit different because there's a lot of ransomware, and we're just going to repeat ourselves a lot, right? Let's do this. If there's a unique thing to talk about on that particular story, we'll go into that. If you have a specific question about ransomware, its deployment, things of that nature, drop it down in the chat. We got mods here that are keeping an eye on that, and we'll answer that. Oop. If you guys have questions for jaw jacking, put them in the chat with the Q, and I will flag them. That's right. Thank you so much, DJ BSEC.
BlackSuit Royal achieves $500 million in ransomware demands.
I saw this yesterday, yeah.
A new report from CISA, well actually an update to a previous CISA report compiled with the FBI and released on August 7th, says that the ransomware group, once known as Royal and now rebranded as BlackSuit, has demanded more than $500 million from its victims in less than 2 years. This is the group that most notably attacked the city of Dallas last year and which may be responsible most recently for attacks on 2 counties in Indiana. The $500 million number represents monies demanded, not necessarily received, and like other gangs, it is known for negotiating down once the victims make contact. The report states that, quote, phishing emails are among the most successful vectors for initial access by BlackSuit threat actors.
All right, one thing to keep in mind here, right? So, sorry about that if I just made everybody freak out with that flip-flop there. I'm not sure what in the world happened with Restream. One thing I heard, I just want to find it here. They made a... Oh, I can't find it at the moment, but They made a mention in the audio read that was very, very key. And that's something that a lot of us cybersecurity people try to figure out what the ratio is. Like, this is only the number that's being publicly posted uh, to like IC3 and things of that nature. And if there's a public demand on the website, it's the only way that the news reports can actually calculate this type of information, right? It's like, hey, we just hit Bob Jones Barbecue Shack for $10,000 and pay us before this countdown before we leak. And that's really the only way that you're able to get that, unless you have companies like us that's disclosing this stuff, and we really don't unless it's to a federal entity, and they're not going to really release it to the news organization. The other side of things is, you know, uh, a lot of the threat actors don't even post the victim names until they have run down their internal clock, right? Let's say hypothetically you got compromised yesterday or today, you have legitimately like a week or 2 weeks of non-communication, that first communication to the threat actor before they even post your company name up there, right? So if you're being proactive, you came in on the weekend, you even took Tuesday, Wednesday of that next week before you even contacted them, they're never going to post your information unless you just didn't pay. So, how many people never get mentioned versus the ones that are publicly mentioned? I I have a sneaking suspicion, and I have when I talk to a lot of people that it's they kind of concur with my assumption that it is like a 3-to-1 ratio where three are not posted to every one that is. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. There's just only my gut and my guess on these things. But yeah, the ransomware is a massively impacting organization. That's a much bigger issue than anybody can imagine. We'll just say it that way. And the other side of it is businesses are not prepared for this. Not in the biggest reason is financially and insurance wise. We are seeing more companies these days just shutter their doors because of a ransomware issue because they don't have the insurance to back them up and they don't have the capital to get through it. Right? The economy is a very, very real problem right now, ladies and gentlemen. RDP, ransomware deployment protocol. Let's see, James McQueen coming in with that super chat. Since we're talking about cybersecurity, cyber criminal groups, how do hackers get away from the authorities? They ran somewhere. They ran somewhere. Got it. Love you. Love it. Love it. Jeff S. has a question. Okay, so that's a jaw-jacking situation. No worries. So I do see a question from Verbalix. I do have a specific question. Again, like I said, you see it's ransomware, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll take some specific questions throughout this thing before the jaw-jacking session. Don't get me started. Yeah, no joke. Gmod, Jmod, yeah. You're tagging me? I don't think I see it. Anyway, I have a specific question. Can you give more insight on how dark web monitoring works? Yeah, it really, really is. Sure, I really, really can. The dark web monitoring, ladies and gentlemen, it's literally just like it's a data scraper. Like when you have Google search your website, let's just, we'll just pick me out as a guinea pig, right? So, you go to Google. What in the daggum trash? Extra camera? Why are you trying to bring up an extra camera, Restream? Sorry. Let's just say car parts. Let's be goofy. I don't know if my sandbox is messing up. It's gotta be, because everything else is working fine. Alright. We won't be able to do that. My sandbox is literally acting up on me. So you it really is a scraper for the website, right? So you have normal data scrapers for what we call the clear net, which is your .com, your .com, net, info, IO, just all those TLDs. So top level domain, which is .com, .net, .org, all that. And then you have ones that go on the Tor network, which is also called the dark web, but there's data scrapers that will run on there. So as long as you know the website that you're going to, it will go there, it will scrape that site, find any new content, take it, digest it, and then post it onto a forum, right? So hopefully that helps you. It's literally a website scraper. You just got to know where to go for it, and there's a ton of places out there if you're in the know. Caution though, unless you have a real specific reason to be on the dark web Tor network, please, for the love of God, don't go there. I'm not going to get into details, but I swear to you, you mistype a letter, you're going to go to a site, potentially, and see stuff accidentally that I saw 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that I still can't get out of my head. And I would just say it's child in nature. Take it the rest of the way you want there. I mistyped a letter one time, brought up a page. There was just stuff that popped up right away that I will never unsee. Unless you have a reason to be there and have a way to copy and paste that data to in that browser, stay off of the Tor network. Just stay off, please. You'll do yourself a lot of favors. All right, next story, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to have audio issues? Are we going to have it now? We are going to have it now. Yeah. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, it may have picked up my spot where...
SaaS apps present an abbreviated kill chain for attackers. A warning from researchers from App Omni speaking at Black Hat this week that, quote, organizations that are expanding their use of SaaS applications may want to revise their notions of and approaches to the cyber kill chain. Their analysis states that attackers will likely not need to execute all steps of the traditional chain to launch a successful SaaS attack. This means a move from the traditional steps required for a successful attack, including weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions on objectives. The researchers now suggest that the kill chain has been reduced to 2 pairs: initial access and credential access, and collection and exfiltration. A more detailed summary presented in dark reading is linked in the show notes.
Okay, so App Omni. I want to go back. I want to make sure I heard that correctly.
Successful attack, including weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions on objectives. The researchers now suggest that the kill chain has been reduced to 2 pairs: initial access and credential access, and collection and exfiltration. A more detailed summary presented in dark reading is linked in the show notes.
Okay. That's what I thought I heard him say. All right, so they're making the claim that a lot of data exfiltrate, or a lot of the ransomware, things of that nature, has gotten a lot simplified. But this is the SaaS kill chain. Not to be confused with ransomware and things of that nature. And it is. So unless you're getting access into the core infrastructure, that is all this you're able to do in a SaaS application. You know, you get credentials, you're able to log in, you're able to do, like I said a moment ago with the dark web monitoring stuff is, that you're just able to scrape the data and then you're able to leak. So let's just say hypothetically, you get access into some hospital's CRM platform that's cloud hosted. You get credentials, you just start scraping patient data, right? So unless you're able to, again, get into that core infrastructure of the the SaaS application, that's all you're going to have is just the web page data. So, I mean, they're not wrong.
Thanks to today's episode sponsor, Vanta. Whether you're starting or scaling your security program, Vanta helps you automate compliance across frameworks like SOC 2, ISO 27001, and more. With Vanta, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing trust center. Over 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and prove security. Our listeners get $1,000 off at vanta.com/headlines. That is VANTA.com/headlines. North Korea.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was down to there. Let me know if that audio does sound good. I greatly do appreciate it. The questions are, oh, thank you, DJ V6. I see your chat now. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, mid-roll. Sorry. All right, thank you, Jenny Housley, for letting me know. Vaughn Rhodes, also known as All-Time High, has the baton. You know, this is something that's not talked about very much, ladies and gentlemen. In the chat, you can type in, what is it, challenge, I believe, DJ B-Sec, that you were kind enough to set up. My YouTube is catching up here. So if you're ever in the streams and you want to be able to see who the latest community post is, just do hashtag or do the exclamation challenge, and it will automatically bring up everything. Let's see if it'll actually work right now. Again, for some reason my VM is acting funky, or my sandbox is acting funky this morning. Yeah, it's not gonna do it. But anyway, when you do that, it takes you to the LinkedIn page, and it will show you, you know, all your curated feed of everything that's gonna happen. And yesterday, I'm looking on another screen here. It is Vaughn Rhodes, and I do see. Hold on. I know a lot of times we can. If I click this. Copy the link to the post. This is not probably going to work, but I will throw his post into chat. Oh, look at you, DJ B-Sec. Save image. Bear with me, because I want to. I like I'm a little different than Jerry. I like showing the person who's recently posted their stuff, so that way you can kind of see that person. And I'm just a little bit of a different goofball anyway, right? Come on, Sandbox. Josh. So thank you, DJ B-Sec, for making this copied image. So this is Vaughn Rose. He posted yesterday about his Simply Cyber threat, or his Simply Cyber community, getting into the space. So definitely check out his. I did post a link in the chat, so definitely go say hi to him. You know, there was 9 people who liked his post. Let's try to show him some love and everything. Is All-Time High in the chat today? I am not seeing at All-Time High in the chat. We'll keep checking to see if Vaughn Rhodes comes in and is able to hand off the baton, but put in the chat hashtag baton if you have not done it, or if you haven't done it in 2 years. How about that? If you haven't done it in 2 years and you would like to, you know, update your story, or if you've never done it, again, who put hashtag baton in the chat, mods will pick it up, and one of the mods will help nominate you to be able to be the baton. So thank you so much for the community for being able to share your story. Let other people know how easy or not easy it was to be able to get in into the space and what challenges they had, right? And I see you trying to get my attention on something, Mr. DJ BSEC here. That is cool how that's pinned up like that. Oh, we got somebody. So, woo! Sarah got a new job. What job did Sarah get? Congratulations, Sarah. So, one other question here real quick before we get into the second part of the stories. DJ BSEC, that's cool how it's pinned up like that. I kind of like this this new format of Restream a little bit. I have a question about how many of the people person do I need to be for a GRC role? Okay. I don't think you have to be, well, no, I take that back, because you do have to be somewhat a people person. Oh, look, dude. Well, I say dude to Datasphere. I'm not sure if you're a man, woman, or whatever. I just say dude is generic, and guys and folks and all, so don't take offense. But sorry, ADHD, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you. But anyway, you have to be somewhat of a people person, right? But definitely talk to Dr. Gerald about that, because he's more of that GRC person. But I do know you can't be an introvert like a lot of IT people are, where you're able to just bang away on the keyboard. I know keyboard stuff is, a good amount of time, or a good amount of work that a GRC person is conducting every day. But you do have to be able to interface with other people to be able to get, your projects done and be able to get the questions answered that you need. So you need to have some sort of, you can't be like super introvert to be GRC. But you don't have to be, Tony Robbins, getting out there and be like, oh, you got to make it better type of thing, right? So, you just got to work on it. And trust me, as you get to know people and things like that, it does get better, not bitter. Look, I mean, once I get going, I'm fine. But I'll just tell you something about me. Small talk, I really, really suck at. I hate it. That's why Casually Joseph and some of my other friends, they know that about me. You now know that about me. And I'm trying to make myself an introduction to somebody new. It's really, really awkward for me, right? So, if we can have conversations that jump right into the meat and potatoes of things, and we can get past how's the Braves, or how's the weather, trying to get past all that nuances. God, I hate it. I really, really suck at it. And I look like a big freaking idiot. So, I say that to say a lot of GRC, you're going to be working inside of an organization. You'll have potentially other GRC members in there. They'll know that about you, and trust me, they're probably some of the same way as well. And they'll be able to help coach you through that type of stuff and be able to make you a little bit better of a person, right? So don't be scared. Is what I'm trying to say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me pivot back over to this. Let's shut off the mid-roll. Oh, before I do that, give me 1 sec. I do need to give a link, because we are going to try to do so. Hide that shush. Where did they move it? Hey, DJ BSEC, while I'm going through the rest of the stuff, can you get the link up and put it in a mod chat so we can do the panel afterwards? I can't figure it out at the moment. Thank you, buddy, if you hear me. Of course, it's going to mess up again. Daggum, audio. Well, they're going to be second to turn up the audio too.
Korea's Kimsuky's operations revealed in part. The Kimsuky espionage group is best known for phishing campaigns in which its agents pose as academics or journalists in order to steal sensitive information. A new report published yesterday, Thursday, by Resilience reveals some of the APT group's activities through analysis of its operational security mistakes, which, quote, led to the collection of source code, login credentials, and other crucial data, end quote. Resilience's findings describe the group's use of phishing pages that mimic legitimate university login portals and its use of a custom tool called SendMail, which sends phishing emails through compromised email accounts. According to Resilience, quote, the breadth and depth of Kimsuky's tactics underscore the persistent and evolving threat posed by state-backed cyber groups.
Yeah, I'll just say that SendMail application. We see that a lot in a lot of business email BECs, business email compromise or compromisations. But if you're whoever you're talking to, a lot of times when you're going through a BEC, a lot of times we go through and find out what additional applications have been installed to a user, granting external access to an email box, and we do see another application called just straight out email. We do see SendMail. We do see Roundcube, things of that nature. That way, it kind of syncs to an offsite location. This is like the ransomware story from hell. Yeah, SendMail is on a Linux, but they do have containers of that DJBSec where you can run it as an application module now. But it is primarily a Linux module or Linux application. I think you can even. I wish that my internet or whatever was on or working on this darn VM or the sandbox properly.
Ransomware attack cost LoanDepot $27 million. The attack, which occurred in January of this year, involved the theft of PII and financial account information of 16 million individuals. The company now says the cost of this attack, including, quote, costs to investigate and remediate the cybersecurity incident, the costs of customer notifications and identity protection, professional fees, including legal expenses, litigation settlement costs, and commission guarantees, end quote, amounted to $26.9 million.
Was that not
The Alf V. Black Cat Group took credit for this attack.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, this is a really, really good story of being put together. Definitely go back and digest this because this is actually good, right? At least from my side, trying to help clients know and customers know that it is very impactful. It's very expensive to go through a potential situation like this. I know a lot of organizations like, yeah, we're not doing notification, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. We just want our data back, and we can't force them to do proper notification and do what is legally binding to them, and they'll may or may not pay for that price later on, but that's something that they'll have to deal with. But it is very, very expensive. So in the grand scheme of things, right, ladies and gentlemen, let me do this. Oh, I'm literally over here looking at my mouse moving over here on this screen, but it's really over here on this, whatever. So when you have an incident, you have downtime, you have lost productivity, you have loss of client trust, you're not able to get your product services out the door and being able to bill for those things. You have a goofhead like me and my organization or somebody like us that are coming in. We're doing the threat actor negotiation to find out how much they want, and doing proof of concept. Did they steal it? Can they properly decrypt it? Doing the OFAC check. Are we legally allowed to make that payment to you on your behalf? Doing the forensics if you're legally required to, depending on the business industry that you're in or the state that you're in that may or may not require that. We actually have a book that sits on our desk that we get from, and that literally has like all the states, right? So we can find out, and this book gets updated pretty regularly. But what is PII? What is the specific state's attorney general? Excuse me. Require as a breach or an incident inside of from their attorney general. So from there, then you got to do potential e-discovery, which files contain the social security number, the address, things of that nature. Some states literally are so small where if you have a name, an address, and a phone number, that's all you need to be considered PI and required to do breach notification to them, right? And if you've ever seen a shipping label, which I don't have, I thought I had one here, that's all on there. Your name, your address, and a phone number is on most shipping labels. So you got to be careful with your data. Right, so definitely go back through, digest this one. It does have a good amount of information about what's involved from a cost perspective to a business. to be able to do that. In fact, I'm actually going to have Kimberly put this thing together because I can do that. Delegation! Yay!
Vulnerabilities expose solar power systems to hacking.
Joseph.
A warning from researchers at Bitdefender regarding serious vulnerabilities in widely used solar power systems, which could potentially allow attackers to cause disruption and blackouts. The source of the problem is in photovoltaic system management platforms provided by two interconnected Chinese companies, SolarMan and Deye, spelled D-E-Y-E, which operate millions of solar installations worldwide, generating roughly 20% of the global solar power production. The researchers state the vulnerabilities could be exploited to take full control of any account on the SolarMan platform, enabling attackers to modify parameters and manipulate inverters, and also to, quote, gain access to sensitive data, including personal information and location data for solar installations, end quote. It could further lead to exposure of sensitive information about users and organizations and cause disruptions that could lead to grid instability or blackouts.
Well. I mean, everything here screams to me, ladies and gentlemen, this is just more IoT stuff. I know very little about the solar industry. I mean, I know that these panels somehow are able to convert sun into energy. I know those little modules that are on the back of there, some of them are real dumb, right? They're just power inverters. So on the back of a panel, you'll have a little cable that comes out of the solar array. It goes into a power brick, and that's an inverter, and you can tie them together and build up some wattages through running them in parallel or in series or in parallel. So that's about the extent I know of from my electrical experience back in the day. It was really new stuff back when I was doing it. They didn't have, even putting solar on roofs back when I was an electrician. So, I do know a lot of solar panels allow remote monitoring. So I'm guessing that's what this is, where you're able to monitor the voltage out of each panel, find any panels that may need to be replaced, things of that nature. And those are, those are under the IoT spectrum. And, this is just another IoT vulnerability from my 30,000 foot view, first blush of things, right? So, as well as general IoT setups. There we go. Yeah. So, I mean, it is it's very beneficial to be able to know if you have panels that are not performing correctly, things of that nature, and making sure you're getting the most out of your investment, ladies and gentlemen. But you just got to make sure you're doing business with a trusted vendor and you have trusted third-party integrations with it. I mean, you can have a panel that's made in America or the UK or whatever and have a bunch of Chinese stuff on the back end of it, right? So, and that's literally where this problem potentially comes in from.
Hackers can spy on cell phone users through 5G baseband flaws. Researchers from Pennsylvania State University say they have discovered a series of security flaws in different 5G basebands. These are processors used by cell phones to connect to mobile networks.
Mm-hmm.
They say these vulnerabilities could allow hackers to hack victims and spy on them. Speaking at Black Hat on Wednesday, the group described their custom-made analysis tool called 5G Base Checker, which, quote, uncovered baseband vulnerabilities made by Samsung, MediaTek, and Qualcomm, which are used in phones made by Google, Oppo, OnePlus, Motorola, and Samsung, end quote. The researchers have released the 5G Base Checker on GitHub to allow other researchers to also hunt for 5G vulnerabilities. Be sure to join us later today at 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, whatever. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just here for the news, thank you so much for tuning in. 5G, I'm not going to get into that whole thing because people are going to start thinking we're talking about bats and COVID and everything else like that. That's a whole That's a whole little different thing, right? So just checking something. Mods, if you're wanting to come on and be part of the panel, please start file in. I'm getting reports that, so those who don't know, I do live down in the Charleston area, and I'm starting to see reports of some massive floodings around our neighborhood. Hooray! Let's see. Yep, if you all here for the news, thank you so much for tuning in. We will be pivoting over to jawjacking in just a moment. I know I'll be here to answer your questions. I'm not sure. I'm sure DJ BSEC will come up. I don't know if anybody else will. I know a lot of the mods. You know, Casually Joseph is over at summer camp. They were going to try to do an impromptu with Casually Joseph and James McQuiggan with Dr. Gerald Auger today in the hotel room, but that kind of fell through a little bit. So I guess we will pivot on over there. Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking around this long. If you're still here, thanks for putting up with the late arrival. And we will pivot over to jawjacking as soon as I can find the freaking screen for it. I believe it's this one. I'm still that nerd though. I'm not Dr. Gerald Auger where he's like coming from that nerd Dr. Gerald Auger. I'm just me. Let's bring up my buddy, my partner in non-crime.
Non-crime.
I don't want to commit you to any felonies that you're not prepared for yet, sir.
Not yet.
What's going on, buddy? Again, thank you so much for jumping in there and saving my hide. Holy moly.
Hey, I was just like, hey, do I need to get in? I guess I'll jump in for now. I'm sure he'll wake up eventually.
I cannot believe that.
Oh, let's see.
I look over 809.
No, we didn't do too bad. It's only 8:10. So
yeah.
We do have a couple of questions that are already pinned up and ready to go. If you have a question, go ahead and drop it in chat. I'll try and go for a little bit and answer any questions. There's another one. So Farblex originally put in here, they wanted to know if we give more insight on how darknet monitoring works, which I think he kind of already described by scraping the dark web. And with great knowledge comes great responsibility, right? That's exactly like Eric said. If you don't need to be there, don't go there.
Yeah.
What real reason? There's not anything that for most people, the stuff that you can see, you're going to see on the open web.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those open web pages are on the dark web, and they're just there to. So it's there's no real reason to do that, unless you're just trying to use Tor to bounce around your IP address. There's no reason to sit out there and try to hit onion sites.
Exactly.
Let's see. We got another one. Says trying to build a virtual large-scale network, but everything requires Cisco membership to download iOS images for stuff like. Yes, that is gonna be one of your problems.
That's a great thing for the Tor network. No, just please don't.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna say go do that.
No.
Here's what I would say: you can go out on eBay, even on Amazon, and you can find switches that have the iOS image on there already, for cheap. And then you can TFTP that stuff off of it. You can pull the stuff off, and then you can have the image to do that. That way you're not. That way you don't spend a lot of money on electricity by running 30 switches and routers and so forth in your house.
I know back in the day, you could actually go to eBay and be able to look up like the Cisco Home Labs that had like the little small like
Yeah,
6
they
or
already
8
have
U
stuff in
rack.
there. Yep.
Do they still have that circulating around?
Some, I don't know if they're on. I know there's some on. I've seen some on Amazon stuff, and it's like you get a 10U rack with like 5 switches and 2 routers in them,
Yeah.
and that's plenty to build. I don't know what you mean by a large scale network. If you're trying to like create 10 routers that are running OSPF on there that's connected to BGP, like if you're trying to do stuff like that, then if you're doing that type of stuff, then you should already have those images already, because you're way into it as it is.
Now that I can actually work out of my sandbox, I wanted to say there was a Cisco iOS image in the Azure Marketplace. Let me check real quick.
You can also go out on forums. People have built stuff out that they share. And a lot of people, there are some forums where people build stuff out and they break it on purpose to see if you can fix it.
Yep.
That's a good lab, a good test. This was a good question that came in from Sarah, or I guess it's not one really question, is more, and it was talking about when we were talking about the dark web. She said, wouldn't it also be bad if you're out there accessing those sites and potentially get put onto a list that makes you associated with that? That would be my worst fear. And like all of a sudden the FBI is knocking at my door and I'm like, oh my God, no.
So yeah, no. Just
There's
because
a yes and a no to that. Depends on how deep you get into that site and if you got stuff on there.
All right, let's.
Any site, that is.
All right, let's say I was trying to use an analogy that was safe to do and not be too dark. Let's say movies, right? Let's say hypothetically you stumble across a website where you can stream movies in your browser. It doesn't require login information or anything like that. You can just go there. It will display a bunch of movies. You click on it. It's like the Netflix without subscription, if you will. There's nothing illegal about that. Same thing with the dark web. There's nothing illegal accessing and looking at a site. It's what do you do with that data that could potentially be a legal factor for you, right? That's like me saying, because we go on the dark web like 90% of the time, and we're looking for previous customers and that may have been surfaced back up, things of that nature, right? There's nothing illegal about that. There's even nothing illegal about me downloading the files that are being posted.
Yeah, because at that point it's public.
It's public knowledge. It's public for public consumption. Even though it's dark web, we're not doing anything malicious. Now, where it crosses the line, if I took that data and start posting it, hey, I've got this data set from ABC Mickey Mouse Clubhouse's freaking dog food IoT device, where it fled Pulo, then that is where you're breaking the law. You're actually putting out for general consumption stuff that you're not authorized to do, and that's where the hackers are doing things illegally. About the Cisco, the shop's sharing that screen. Let's share. Oh yeah, I can just share a tab. Awesome. So in the Azure Marketplace, you can actually, stand up a bunch of Cisco gear. So you'll be able to take this and then, create a bunch of VMs to be able to build out your stuff and be able to, do your testing and things of that nature if you don't want to go to PayPal. Did my screen show? Because it looked like
it showed.
Okay.
And if you don't have an Azure account, you can create one and maybe you get $200 for free, so you can be able to spin that stuff up and work on it for free, and then just don't leave it running. Tear it down.
Yeah. Otherwise, you will get a big bill.
Let's see what else. I know Kimberly is throwing stuff in there. I've got all of these on here. So we talked about that one. I know somebody just put one in. Oh, Jeff. So Jeff said, there's was replying to me by large scale. I want to create a lab that I can show the potential employers that I have the networking knowledge to work on their enterprise. Okay, so with that, you're not going to walk into a job interview and drop that on the table and go, hey, here, go look at what I did. What's going to happen is in that interview with the lab, all the lab's going to do is it's going to give you the ability to answer the questions that are brought forth to you in the interview. They're not going to, if I was interviewing you and I'm not going to go, hey, do you have something on GitHub where I can pull it up and go see what network you created? Because the network you created has nothing to do with the network that you're going to be running on, or that you are going to be they'll be working with. So the questions will come across like, hey, in our corporation we use OSFP. Do you understand that? Have you used that before? Yes, I've created, I created a large scale, and I know what AS numbers are, and I know what this is, and I know what that is. Being able to answer those questions is where you're going to get, is what's going to help you. Not, hey, I created a large scale network with 50 switches and 100 routers in there, and they've got different, AS topology and so forth. Just knowing the knowledge is what's going to get you through that interview.
1000% agree. It's been a long time since I've been in an interview process. Like from your experience, being in IT a lot more than I am these days, do you actually reference GitHub as a knowledge thing?
Not in an interview, but if somebody sends me when they're sending me a resume and there's not a GitHub on there or a LinkedIn on there, and it's just the resume itself, I'm kind of like, man, I really, anybody can say whatever they want to on their resume, right? Most people are using their resumes to get themselves in the door to get to the interview, right? So you want to put the stuff on the resume that's going to make you look good. But what you don't want to do is put stuff on the resume that's going to make you look good, and then when you walk in, you get questions about it and you can't answer the questions. So if somebody has a GitHub, it's great to put that GitHub link on the resume, because guess what? When they're going through, or say that the person's resume has passed through the ATS and it's gone through HR and it's over to the interviewer. Now that person gets in, he's like, looks at the resume. Oh, this person looks good. Oh, they have a GitHub. Let me go look and see what projects they have on GitHub. Great. I can see that they're doing a lot of stuff. Perfect. Or, hey, here's their LinkedIn. I can actually go see their history and see what they're talking about, their posts. And realize, people, LinkedIn and social media, when you put a resume in, people do go look at that stuff. So don't, especially on LinkedIn, like that's a workplace. Don't start putting stupid personal stuff all over the place on LinkedIn.
Look at my kitty smiling at me.
So yeah, I mean it's relevant, but it's not something that's going to come up in the interview. Maybe in the interview they go, oh, hey, I did look at your GitHub. I see all the projects you've been working on. I see that you have a PowerShell project or you have a Python project, and that's awesome. It does give relevance to you being able to do stuff.
Yeah, be able to showcase your skills a little bit more than just being on paper.
We had a whole bunch of questions about what book that was that you...
Cybersecurity and Data Privacy Desktop Reference.
There you go. Cybersecurity and Data Privacy Desktop Reference.
But it literally will say, like, for California, notification timelines. It just, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that, but, it just breaks it all out. It even lists out in third parties, things of that nature. So anytime we get a new case,
that's great to have.
Yep.
That's great to have. I mean, even if you're not in Eric's position, it's great to have if you're in a position in IT to look at your local state and know what it is. You get the 10,000 foot level?
50,000 foot, but yeah, it's a little more granular, but I'll go with 10,000. Let's see, what is South Carolina? It's been a while since I looked at that. ADHD is rampant in my head.
Following that same one, Jay and Michael put, Eric, you just blew my mind with the data given, or what about like data given on pre-filled forms, if that's you. So you have a pre-filled form in the state of Maryland, and it's only, that's the username or
username, password,
like the email, phone number and address. Boom, there you go.
It could be.
Space Tacos, I'm never muted. I'm always talking. Let's see. Here we have the news. Oh, and so this was something, of course, we're still on PII and talking about it. I tagged this one because Hemoglobin said, here we had in the news where criminals were digging around in trash bins and collecting and shipping the shipping tag information on people. Mm-hmm. So this is 100% a thing. I would say, can't remember when, maybe 5 years ago, this happened to me. I put the trash out, and I swear somebody went by and dug through my trash, and I got my identity stolen. They ran up a large phone bill in the state of California. They purchased 2 iPhones. I mean, I think it was like $5,000. So, of course, I had to go through the whole scenario of calling the cops, getting a police report and all this stuff and going through it all. But this is definitely one thing that does happen. So for everybody out there, buy a cross shredder, shred your stuff. Mm-hmm. If you live far enough out, burn your stuff. If you have the ability, don't put stuff in the trash that has your name, your phone number. I mean, your address is already there if they're driving by and getting your address. Your address on there, anything that's got your information on there, you want to do whatever you can to remove it. I like to talk about it in the sense of a car, and you're driving and you go to a parking lot, right? If you go pull up next to a car and you get out of your car and you leave your doors wide open and your keys in it, your car is most likely to get stolen because the one next to you, the doors are shut, the windows are up. So shut your doors, shut your windows, take your keys, hit the alarm, make it harder for somebody to do something to you than the person next to you.
Yeah, it's just like in cybersecurity, you don't have any ports open. Yeah, you don't have SSH, you don't have ransomware deployment protocol, you don't have serving up web pages. They're going to skip onto the more easier target down the road than trying to penetrate you. Unless you're being attacked by an ATP, then you're just pretty much, you might as well just leave yourself up and get prepared.
That's a whole different.
Sorry, Kennedy.
Oh, seen something about a first timer. Who's the first timer? Not sure who it was, but.
Welcome to the party, pal.
There we go. Maybe fun, unfun fact for folks. If you're on the East Coast, get strapped in. They're seeing potential another hurricane coming for the East Coast, the middle to late next week.
Yeah, I've looked at that. So, I'm when it comes to hurricane time, I'm a pretty big weather nerd and follow that a lot. It does look like there's possibly one coming. Depends on. Hopefully, it stays north of Puerto Rico. For me, if it stays north of Puerto Rico, it's good for me because it should go East Coast. But from what I saw, it's supposedly, hopefully, to stay a fish storm, and we don't get more in depth with that. I've got a website that I go to, Pivotal Weather, that it shows you all the stuff.
Yeah, this is one that I typically do sometimes. Zoom.earth. So this was the current one. This is the disturbance number 1 that they're strongly looking at. So,
here I can show you guys real quick.
Okay. Please do, good sir.
What let's see here.
That's weird looking.
That
Hello.
was weird looking.
Welcome. How are you?
All right, so here's we'll flip back out over here. So West Atlantic, and you can see. So this is the last American model run, and we're going cybersecurity, and we're talking about model runs. And you can see as it moves forward that this hurricane comes out, and now we see it come in. So that looks like this is Georgia. We can see the East Coast here. As we move forward, and we can see a time frame. See how it just nicks. And that says what, 8/19. So, all right. Everybody, it's that time of the year. Just be prepared.
Mm-hmm. So getting a ping for the book. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a book for public consumption. It's put out by a private entity that is for our industry.
Let's see. Somebody's asking about, do we hear about random room inspections? That would be something for Joseph and James McQuiggan.
So I did hear from Casley Joseph because he, we were talking and he got last minute tickets to Black Hat, DEF CON, one of the two, whatever. But I was like, yeah, man, just this will get your device all secured up and go over there and have fun at summer camp. Just put your stuff in the safe in the hotel room.
Yeah.
There was no safe
in his room.
Yeah.
Maybe
now I'm talking to more and more people, and they're like, yeah, hotels have been getting rid of safes for a while now. I'm like, what?
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't use them. They don't put their stuff in there. I used it when I was there. I put all my stuff in there.
Yep.
I did hear that it was only 2 specific hotels. I can't remember where I saw that, but somebody was saying it was 2 specific ones, like the Rio and something else. But question, is gatekeeping a myth? I wouldn't say it's a myth. Kind of just depends on who you're dealing with.
Yeah, it depends on the business.
Yeah, it depends on who you're dealing. And when you're referring to gatekeeping, if you're talking about actually getting through the HR interview, I wouldn't necessarily call it gatekeeping as much as it is I think I got it right, the ATS system. So the stuff that you're actually putting on your resume and it not getting through that automatic system into the HR's inbox. So yes, you could consider that gatekeeping because you're not hitting the criteria that they're looking for, even though you may be able to do the job. Maybe the job saying, hey, you need to have 5 years, you need to have at least an associate's, and you need to have an A+ certification. And if that stuff isn't on the resume, then the automatic system kind of pushes you off to the side and gets the next person, even though you may have enough experience in to be able to do the job. You don't get brought up. So for things like that, I mean, I personally, if I were to see a job from something, I would look to find who is the HR person there and try and contact the HR person directly and send the resume directly if you have the ability to. Some of them will tell you to go through their systems, but network. That's the way to network.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a great question for Jesse. But I think he's actually got a job now working.
The biggest thing, we've talked about this numerous times, especially when Tyler was co-hosting or hosting the Simply Cyber, but the biggest thing that I learned when writing a pen test report is to have two reports, one executive, one technical.
Yeah, we went through that before. It's one technical you can give to the security people, the IT people, and they'll understand what's going on. The top one, the executive report, that's the one you're taking to the board, or you're taking into whomever has asked for it, and then they can hand it over, and it gives a top level explanation so people understand. They don't need to go in depth and understand what they need to secure and how to do it. They just need to know what's broke and who's going to fix it.
Yep. The biggest thing when you have any sort of pen testing engagement is to outline, are you going to test and prove that the vulnerabilities that you discovered have been patched? That's one of the biggest pitfalls that I had. It's like, oh, we want you to do it. Well, that wasn't part of our agreement. And I didn't have it wasn't a part of our agreement either at the time. So, having that discussion in the sales process is, definitely very key. So make sure you have that as well.
All right, we got one. What are your recommended labs for practicing cybersecurity fundamentals on a budget? On a budget, honestly, on a budget, go to try Hack Me, because you can do it for free. There are labs out there that do cybersecurity. I'm not sure if the full fundamentals is free, but even then, try Hack Me's $10 a month, and you get to go through everything they have on there. That's a budget. For $10, that people build stuff. Tyler's built stuff up. You can run through blue teaming stuff. You can run through red teaming stuff. I think they might have a GRC plan on there now.
I've heard they have some forensic stuff there too.
Yeah, they're great to start off for basics. Go there. It's cheap, and that's the best way to do it. Jump into that. We are at 10:30 or 10:36. We're at 8:36, 9:36 Eric's time. Oh, I'm just now seeing Theo's on here. Said I'm available for jawjacking. I just now say that's 30 minutes ago. Going through all this. What are your thoughts on the KASM workspace? What is the KSM workspace?
Yep, go to Google. To the Google!
Containers for streaming platforms? I don't know much about it, so.
It delivers zero trust remote browser installation, desktop as a service, open source techno, OSINT.
If it's just doing that, just open up the sandbox on your.
Oh, so yeah, this came up in topic the other day, and I'll bring it up here on stream here. So I think this is what they're referring to. But essentially, you're launching a containerized
Desktop.
VM in the browser. Which, I get, if you don't have infrastructure, great. But I'd rather just spin up a sandbox, do what I got to do, and then shut it down. Or
unless it's unless it keeps everything.
Yeah, but if I need to have persistent data, then I'll just run. So I know it's everybody will start screaming, coming after me with pitchforks, but we have VMware Workstation on our devices. So we'll just have like 1 or 2, 3, VMs. So if I need to have that data for long term, then I just put it in one of those VMs that I've got. But you can use VirtualBox or whatever, some free thing if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I use both. I throw stuff on there. That's what my Kali box is on. I'll bring up the Windows Sandbox to test some stuff. Oh,
man, our ground is soaking wet. Is somebody really mowing their yard out there?
y'all been getting rain for what, the last 4 days, 5 days?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know if we're gonna be able to dry out in time before the next freaking rain comes.
Yeah, that's what we were worried about here. We're still cleaning up. There are tree limbs everywhere. People like the big trucks that got cranes on the back of them that are coming to pick up trees and stuff. There's trees all over the place. And I know we keep talking about hurricanes because that's where we're in that area, but there was supposed to be possibly another one that was coming in this way and could have been in here by the middle of next week, which finally dissipated and gone away. But if we would have got hit again, it would have been bad. Okay, I think this applies to you guys for the events that happened today. RP03. The integrity of backups and other restoration assets is verified before using them. I don't know what that is. That's not a question. I'm not sure what we're talking about here.
We don't understand the words coming out of your mouth.
GNS3 Networking Labs, got that. Behind on here. I do see Neil is on. Taylor, thanks. Trying to go through these questions here. Can you please drop a link for the book? The book, we've already talked about that. Lorita, I am not in Puerto Rico. I'm in Texas. Let's see what else. Trying to look for anybody that's got a Q by the side of it. KSM. Looks like we hit all of the questions.
Hooray!
Yay! We can. So I'm gonna drop this in chat, and what we can do is we can go ahead and close this out, and we'll drop this in chat.
Did we get anybody to pick up the baton?
Yeah, I think they did. I think somebody did have the baton.
Okay, cool.
There was somebody that said that they wanted it. I don't remember where that was. I think Space Taco had said somebody or had pointed somebody out. Let me drop this in chat. I'll drop it under Jerry's name, and we can all pop over to Neil's stream. Neil's currently doing Tea with a Hacker, and he's doing GRC. He had a GRC specialist this morning. That GRC specialist was not Jerry. That is not why Jerry's not here. Jerry and Casually Joseph spent the night out together, probably. That's why they're not here.
I'll get your wow.
But Neil's over there talking about GRC, and I believe he is talking about, or he's doing an AMA right now. So while we shut this out, we can go ahead. We'll put that link in chat, and you guys can hop over there, and we can go raid. Neil and tell him that Simply Cyber Crew has shown up for his Friday morning. That'll make him happy. Let's see, but before we do that, Eric, everybody wants to hear Sea Shanty.
Drop it. Is it still in here?
It should be.
It should be. Yes, it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in for the jaw jacking. Man, I feel like. One, I'm gonna get some coffee. Two, I'm gonna get my ADHD medicine. Number three, I'm gonna go fly my drone because a ton of our neighborhoods are underwater. But thank you so much for tuning in. We do greatly appreciate each and every one of you. 206 of you sexy mofos still in here and being able to hang out with us and be able to enjoy some good times. Thank you so much. To those who stick out throughout the day, come the spoils. Here comes the sea shanty. Thanks again, DJ BSEC, for pitch hitting and saving my behind this morning. We'll see all of you people on Monday. Go out, pet your dog or your cat, go enjoy some sun, and try to enjoy the weekend. Take care, y'all.
The kid whose passwords laid across all sites, they were the same. A criminal then found their fame by taking that data to go. Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.